it's wonderful really to see once again on this little Zoom screen and all these little windows, so many new faces and people behind the faces I didn't have the pleasure yet to meet. But it's a way of introducing ourselves, our projects, our proposals, and in a way to get to know you indirectly as well through this info session on the EFFE Seal for festival cities and regions. So a very warm welcome to everyone. My name is Katrin Deventer. I'm the head of the European Festivals Association. You might think, because many of you in this room now are representing cities or are based in cities, why the hell a European Festivals Association is talking to cities and with cities? Well, EFA, of course, indeed, is a festivals community. We are reaching out through our different initiatives and programs to some 3,000–4,000 festivals and young festival managers across Europe and worldwide as well, with, of course, the most important objective, which is to improve the artistic and organizational opportunities of festivals in all their diversities as they exist locally. So how come that cities are on our agenda? That's a very relevant question. Well, with our 70 years of maturity, let's say, of age, we have developed our different conversations amongst festivals on the one hand, but also with our twin sister or brother, if you want to say so, which are cities. And we are here with you, many cities representatives from across Europe and beyond Europe. And we are here with a group of what we call steering group cities, which are those ones that together with the European Festivals Association, a couple of, by now I think it's 2–3 years ago, came together to think about the ways how festivals and cities in a kind of European framework can work even closer together. Because I think all together we share this credo or this belief that festivals and cities need to connect or do connect with each other in order to give the local communities in the places festivals are happening a temper or a spirit, a face and somehow a soul and a feeling when you come to these places. So festival makers in cities, we believe together have this responsibility to enable encounters and to bring people together. And I think we all together believe that the arts as a tool, as a vehicle, and as a meaning in a way, also to think and to imagine another world than the one that we are facing in reality, have something in common and have something to work on. This EFFE Seal, very concretely, and we can show some slides in the back, Anna, if we want to, which underline maybe a little bit this connectivity between arts and festivals on the one side, and now of the EFFE Seal on the other side. This EFFE Seal is a very concrete commitment and a committing engagement signed by cities for a closer collaboration. So we go to the, I think, third slide. Here we go. We have started to think about a text, and this text is actually pinpointing a series or a couple of principles that we thought would unify cities and festivals together in an invitation for cities, in a recognition of cities, and in a process of cities to work with their local festivals and with their festival life. I think Peter Inka is here with us from Budapest. This was, in a way, the starting point when you collected all the different elements of cities conversations we had in different Zoom meetings and encounters where certain principles came to the forefront that we pointed out. And I think they are on the next slide of this PowerPoint presentation, these principles. A text that seals a closer collaboration between festivals and their cities, that supports arts festivals in the cities, that engages cities with their festivals in conversations and encounters, and that creates structured dialogue platforms between festivals on the one hand and politics on the other hand. So we concluded this process a couple of months ago with 7 founding cities that came together in Yerevan. I want to mention them. They are Bergen, Belgrade, Edinburgh, Ghent, Krakow, Ljubljana and Leeuwarden, and they signed what we call, in the end, the EFFE Seal for festival cities and regions. And in addition to these 7 founding cities, 3 further cities, Birgu in Malta, Cividade in Friuli, as well as the city of Aveiro in Portugal, joined the process since September last year. And I think this very meeting here today as a purpose was to gather you all together and to maybe explain a little bit more in detail what the seal can do for cities, what the seal can mean for your festival life, and how actually the seal as a tool is used in different cities under different objectives and with different purposes included. So the next 50 minutes, we are really eager to present this environment, and I would like to start with a very brief filmed introduction of the EFFE Seal and what the EFFE Seal is, because I think films sometimes with some visuals are clearer than my dry words.
Festivals reflect the identity of their host cities and regions. In addition to providing a powerful platform to celebrate urban life, the creative power of arts and culture brings citizens closer together. Festivals can shape their environment in multiple ways. Europe for Festivals, Festivals for Europe began as an EU-funded programme to help arts and intercultural experiences assemble and motivate urban and regional communities to play an active role in the development of Europe. Recently, 7 cities and their festival communities initiated a proposal through the European Festivals Association for an EFFE Seal for festival cities and regions. Belgrade, Bergen, Edinburgh, Ghent, Krakow, Leeuwarden and Ljubljana have experienced the benefits of innovative cooperation between cities and their festivals. Their proposal will help thousands more cities and their arts festivals to take part and actively promote Europe's cultural diversity and artistic vibrancy. The goals, principles and values of the EFFE Seal will be set out in a founding charter that calls for adherence to fundamental European values, as well as creativity, sustainability, internationalism and critical thinking. The EFFE Seal celebrates each participating city's achievements towards its festival community and a commitment to common goals and values. Holders of the EFFE Seal will feature on the festivalfinder.eu portal, reaching millions across Europe and beyond. As festivals continue to grow in popularity and in numbers, this approach aligns with other important facets of city branding. The broad definition of festival regions also encompasses towns, villages, rural areas, valleys and islands. Greater visibility for what they offer can help streamline best practices, as well as strengthening ties with residents, artists, audiences, tourism and many other stakeholders. Why should cities join? The EFFE Seal highlights the impacts festivals generate for their urban, rural and regional environments. The EFFE Seal offers an additional dimension to the city brand. Familiarity with peers helps to define the city's own festival strategy. Festival schedules, logistics and marketing can be adjusted better. The EFFE Seal is one more anchor from the city to the common European project. If you want to know more about the EFFE Seal for festival cities and regions, write to info@efa-aef.eu or visit our website. Regular sharing of experiences of festival cities working with the EFFE Seal will be available on festivalfinder.eu and the website of the European Festivals Association.
Thank you, Anna. Info is not only available on the website, but also today through this Zoom meeting. And I'm happy about this moment that we can share here together. I'm also glad that we can now break down this rather general, let's say, presentation into really individual experiences and give some of the founding cities the floor. I'm very glad that I don't have to do this, but that I can give the floor to Hester de Werf. Hester is formally or was formally involved in the making of the seal and through her engagement with the city of Leeuwarden. And I'm very happy that we could keep, even though she stopped working for the city of Leeuwarden, we could keep her brain and her mind and her soul somehow with us in this project. And as a spokesperson of the EFFE Seal is helping us to develop it really from inside of the interest of festivals and of cities further in the next future. Hester.
Hi. Oh,
Hi.
Those are really kind words. Thank you. Yeah, and I would like to start with a couple of sheets. I think Anna has them on the screen in a bit, because I would like to, in a minute, I would like to give the floor to David from Edinburgh and Ragni from Bergen to give you a little bit more ideas of what the EFFE Seal could mean to you, to your city and to your festivals. But as a more general perspective, or maybe even more specific, we have asked the cities that are working now with the EFFE Seal and that founded the EFFE Seal what they think is the most valuable aspect of the seal. So if it's good, yeah, you can all see it. So there are a lot of things that the EFFE Seal offers your city and that can help you, and it really depends on the needs of your city, the size of your city. But most of the cities agreed that the network that comes with it, so to learn and to share with other cities and festivals, is really valuable. And also strengthening the cities. Now the screen is a little bit weird. Strengthening the relationship with your local festivals is really important, and that's also the one that I experienced in firsthand in Yerevan, when we went to Yerevan with the mayor, the deputy mayor of the city of Leeuwarden, and the festivals. Afterwards, I asked them what was the most valuable of the trip, and they said the good conversations they had together. They both are based in Leeuwarden, but somehow they had to go to Yerevan, to Armenia, to have the best conversation and to really understand each other better. So I think one of the main things is strengthening the relationship with your city's local festivals, because you work together, because you travel together, because you discuss festival policy together, and you understand each other better. And also an important one is improving the local festival policy, of course, with the tools that the EFFE Seal offers. And last but not least, the visibility of your city, like was also explained in the little clip we just saw. If we can go to the next slide. There are some more, there's a word cloud of some additional things that the city representatives experienced when implementing the EFFE Seal. And I think the most, like the thing that you can really extract from this is learning and learning from each other, collaborating, exchange of good practices, but also learning from failures. And I think that's also a very important one. And also one that we as Leeuwarden brought in, is that this is a safe space. This is a space where we can share the things that went well, but also share the things that didn't went very well, so that other cities don't have to make the same mistake again, which is also very valuable. Next slide, please. And this is something for the future. We also asked the EFFE founders what they would like to see in the near future around the EFFE Seal, and those are also based on the experiences and the advantages that the EFFE Seal brings. The workshops, so how can you implement the EFFE Seal and the policy tools that it gives you in your city. Webinars like the ones that we do now, but then diving deeper into topics, live meetings. Like I just said, when you travel together as a city representative with your festival to a place abroad, you really bond, because you connect in a different way than you would do in the office. And of course, the promotion that we just discussed, some support about how you can promote your city on Festival Finder website, and other network activities such as speed date exchanges, etc. I will keep it short because I would like to give the floor to David from Edinburgh first, and then Ragni from Bergen, two of the other founders of the EFFE Seal. and they can also talk a little bit more about what the EFFE Seal meant for their city and their festivals.
Thanks, Esther. Good morning, everybody. My name is David Wazzle. I'm a Senior Culture and Events Officer at the City of Edinburgh Council, and we are one of the founder members of the Festival City Seal, along with one of my colleague and partners, James McVeigh, from Festivals Edinburgh. And is it possible to show the slides I'd sent through? Excellent. We just go to that third one. Thank you. So I just wanted to give the experience from Edinburgh. So if we could go up one slide. Apologies, the council doesn't like Zoom, so I'm having to do this third hand via link to Europe.
Sorry, David, this one is the last one, I think, no?
Yeah, just one slide up would be great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So yeah, just want to talk about why Edinburgh had originally signed up and what we see the festival, the seal doing for Edinburgh. And I think it's important joining up as part of the seal that it demonstrates a public commitment of support for our festivals within the city. And for those of you who are familiar with Edinburgh and with Festivals Edinburgh, you know that we have 11 major festivals in the city who are coordinated and promoted through Festivals Edinburgh, but we have a number of smaller festivals that take place throughout the year, who are maybe a tier slightly lower from that, who are still innovating and creating fantastic products for our city, but aren't quite at that level of the 11 major ones that we have. So, and sometimes they can maybe take a little bit of the sunshine, the 11 major ones. So we want to make sure that we show as a municipality our support for all the festivals that are taking place within our city. The seal creates opportunities for all of those festivals as well, specifically around the development of that network that Hester had mentioned earlier on, and giving them access to a number of like-minded and similar festivals all across Europe, and being able to share their experiences, co-collaborate, co-produce, to create opportunities for themselves, either through exchange of artists or exchange of ideas or learning, telling other people what they're up to, learning from others as well. So it's a really valuable opportunity for all of them to be able to participate in that. On the flip side of it, for the city, it's really important for us as well, because we can learn from the other cities that are taking part in the Festival City Seal around what they're doing in their cities. We're no experts by any means at all. So it's important for us to be able to get an idea of what other people are doing. Are there things that we could be doing in Edinburgh that would better support our own festivals in there, as well as share the experiences that we have of our own city. Very importantly as well, it also reaffirms Edinburgh and Scotland's place and position within Europe. It's an ongoing debate over here, excuse me, but I think it's important that we are able to maintain those links with our European friends and colleagues, and showing that Edinburgh is still firmly here and is still, you know, open for business and visitors, and collaborating with our European partners as well. So one of the ways it's manifested itself in Edinburgh is we've created a new €250,000 local festivals and events development fund. This isn't just about giving money over to organisations to help them run their festivals. It's been brought about and promoted because of our support for the festivals through the Festival City Seal, to enable them to deliver business development and make sure that the organisational elements of the festivals are firmly in place and that they have stronger structures on which to build themselves. So that's around looking at new markets, around business development, around product development and management of festivals as well. So it's been really helpful for us to demonstrate that support. If we could go on to the next slide. One of the ways that it's going to help us as well is looking at the wider strategic partnership and the 2030 vision that the city has, and the ambitions we have around a net zero carbon future. My colleague James is on the call, and there's nothing more disconcerting than having somebody who knows much more about this on a call when you're talking about it. So I'm going to hand over to James just for 30 seconds to quickly run through what the opportunities are through the Festival City Seal and the net zero ambitions that the city has?
Yeah, thanks very much, David. I think one of the key elements we're seeing with regard to the seal is that we have a global challenge around environmentalism, and we've identified within the Festival City vision that net zero carbon future is one of the key elements for us in our future planning. So we see the opportunity of a European network as valuable because we believe it could be the opportunity to compare processes, to create a network, share best practice, actually showcase innovations, identify key leaders across our festival sector. So actually we start to learn from each other. As David said, nobody is the best. We can share other practice, necessarily might be best practice. Sharing other practices is crucial here. So we see the Festival City Seal as actually very valuable, and particularly in this area, which is beyond a city challenge. It's very much at a European and global level. And that's where we think the Festival City Seal for us could become very, very important. 30 seconds, David, that's it.
That was perfect, especially as I only gave James about 10 seconds warning of this. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, I hope that gives some indication of why we've signed up, where we see the opportunities for the city and for our festivals, and how we're looking to implement it. Thanks.
Thanks, David. That's really, really insightful and personal as well. Can we go to Ragni?
Hi. Hi, I'm Ragni. I am an advisor in the section for arts and cultural development in the city of Bergen. And the city of Bergen also participated in the Festival Finder and EFFE Seal project from the beginning as one of the founders. During this project, we involved several of the festivals to sign up for Festival Finder, the website. And in Bergen, we have no city festival. All of them act and develop individually. But in the section for art and cultural development, we have professionally strong resources from the field which are there to discuss and guide all the festivals if it's necessary. As one of the founders, the City Council in Bergen also decided to sign the EFFE Seal agreement. And to Bergen, which is a very hilly and quite remote city, this means actually a lot for us. We consider ourselves as a cultural city in Bergen, and it is a public will and voice which kind of push forward the cultural life. As part of the cultural policy, festivals in Bergen work together with the city council and various aspects of the community, and some of them gets money through the city's yearly budget. And this budget is decided on every 4th year. And this solution offers to us some stability and the possibility to grow as a festival, to plan and to do things properly and with high standards. But the municipality works on the premises that the art production should be separated from the policy making. And therefore we keep a distance to the creative work and artistry. But people in Bergen, they are very eager to visit festivals. And we have Bergen is host to a high number of different festivals and major concerts a year. But the city is not a hub. People travel long distances to go here. So what we need is really visibility. We are very dependent on tourists. And in Bergen, we also experience that festivals, they choose to integrate local distinctiveness and available urban spaces when they plan for festivals and events. So they do not only show an artistic product, but they also show and lead people into distinctive areas and shows many of the city's treasures to be found by the audiences. We also think that the cities and festivals need to connect with each other. That's how the community will gain an equal experience or understanding of something. And my experience is that the city of Bergen has a very open dialogue with the festivals, and this dialogue has been strengthened by participating in this project. The EFFE Seal and Bergen's commitment to it could also provide the necessary backing to promote the market, to promote and market the city as a cultural festival city. And it also ensures a good municipal or political framework for supporting the city's festivals. I think it will help to promote the positive impact of festivals on various sectors, actually. Carrying the EFFE Seal means to us a greater international visibility. And this is not only to promote the festivals and artistry, but also the visibility of community and local culture. The city of Bergen collaborates with also collaborates with the tourism board and Visit Bergen. And the EFFE Seal and Festival Finder will have a direct influence on how the city is marketed as an arts and culture city. For Bergen, it is also important to take part in the network that the EFFE Seal offers. And we experience to have an impact on the outcome of the project. And we also found it very inspirational, and we get many ideas from participating in the network. And this lets us grow further, I think, as a festival city. So I hope this will inspire you to also sign up for the EFFE Seal and to join Festival Finder.
Thank you, Ragni. Catherine, I don't know, is there a possible or a room for questions, or do we do that at the end? What would you say?
We can have some questions if there are immediately now questions. Otherwise, what I would suggest is I will just conclude now the part of the presentation, let's say, and then we can jump back, which is another 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 8 minutes, not more. And then we can keep on collecting questions that you have. Please note them down, don't forget them, put them in the meantime also into the chat. And we will pick them up from the chat again in the conversation that is following in 7 minutes. Everyone agrees? Well, it's no democracy on Zoom. I keep myself being unmuted, and I go back very briefly to the PowerPoint. Anna, thank you for that. We worked on a text, as you know, and we work now on bringing this text to life. And this happens basically through you, the cities and the regions locally and on a European level. And what we did in a very comfortable way, in a way all together, was to identify very concrete work mechanisms, moments, to give shape to this collective that we are shaping together. Yerevan was already mentioned. Our invitation is to create moments for you to be together, to network, to share best practices. I mean, it was mentioned by David and also by all of you, by you, Hester. Showcase innovation was one of the things. Talk together, bring your festivals. And that is, I think, Anna, if you go ahead in the slides, the first invitation to be together and create working mechanisms for festival cities with their festivals to meet each other. This is what we call working meetings on certain topics that happen. On the next slide, you can see that physically twice a year, on the first place during the Arts Festival Summit in springtime, and in the second part of the year in a high-level political environment during the Berlin conference organized by A Soul for Europe, which brings, since its very start, these two topics, arts and politics, together. In addition to that, next slide, please, we try to support the events that cities are doing locally. Here you see the event, and we have with us also in this Zoom space, one of the other initiators of the seal, the city of Krakow, that took the seal context as an opportunity to create a more structured dialogue with the festival scenery in the city itself. As you know, Krakow is a very, very strong festival city with a very strong support actually towards festivals, but there is still a need in a way to connect structurally a dialogue platform from the festivals to the cities and back from the cities to the festival, which the seal to which the seal gave a context in the framework, for instance, of Krakow. On the next slide, I'm letting myself guiding through the slides. We see that, as it was mentioned also before, that the city seal is also a recognition, and that's something very important. It gives visibility, but it's also recognizing cities' efforts towards their festival life. And we hope through different mechanisms such as interviews and podcasts and texts written by the Lord Provost of Edinburgh and other political stakeholders as well, that we can really also reach out to those at the top level taking decisions on the local level and involve them very actively into the thinking on how the potential of the arts and arts festivals in particular in a city can be harnessed more effectively. On the next slide, we see that we also work what we call Festival Finder, and it has been mentioned by Ragni from the city of Bergen already, and I'm very happy that here with us is Jeroen Verraast from Publiek, which is an organization based here in Flanders that since the beginning of this project is giving an added value to this initiative of the seal from a technological point of view. And I think that on the one hand, the eye-to-eye contacts and the exchange of best practices, the meeting environments face-to-face are very, very important. But at the same time, we should not forget the technological opportunities, not only to give visibility to a city through this city's portrait that we are developing for each signing city on our Festival Finder, but also through the technological interfaces and backfaces that exist to connect data from city to a European level and back. I cannot explain this very well, Jeroen, but I think that's the spirit behind our collaboration with Publiek in one or another way, where the spirit is deeper, but that's the technicality that I try to explain. And maybe you can speak a little bit about the spirit behind. Jeroen, are you with us? If you are with us, you have not unmuted yourself. Let me quickly go.
He was here 1 minute, like a bit ago, so maybe.
I also saw him still a minute ago. But okay, I will come back to Jeroen once he's there. Anna, give me a sign when you see him coming back in.
Okay.
But that is the idea of Festival Finder and giving a face and visibility to cities that are connecting their priorities to festivals on this tool that we are developing together with festivals across Europe. There is at the moment around, by the way, 3,000 festivals that have signed up on Festival Finder. And I invite all of you that are here running festivals or that are in touch with festivals to use this tool. It's for free. It gives access to audiences worldwide, basically, to understand what is going on in Europe's festivals live locally. I just finished the presentation, then we see if Jeroen is back. Anna, we jump back into the presentation and we finish it by telling you two more slides that EFA has, of course, various communication tools that we will invest into giving visibility and narratives and storytelling from those cities towards other cities. On the one hand, the Eye-to-Eye magazine, which is sent as a quarterly magazine 4 times a year. It collects 6 articles per edition that gives light to thinking about the arts and about festivals, not from the festival maker's perspective, but from the perspective of the stakeholders around festivals, like, for example, cities. So I'm very happy that with this database of some 10,000 contacts, we are reaching, with this storytelling of cities, larger audiences and giving a place to the EFFE Seal cities involved. And last but not least, we have the EFA Cast, which is an interviewed series of, I think it's not there anymore, but I can say it, an interviewed series of conversations with a journalist and a city, and again with the purpose and with the idea not only to give visibility to a city but share the narrative and how the seal is brought to life and how challenges in the city between cities and festivals are discussed on a local level. So with this nice package of meeting moments physically to meeting moments online, giving visibility through Festival Finder and through a series of conversation tools, we hope that there is, of course, a good way that together between the cities and EFA and the festivals community, we can keep on giving a narrative and shaping the seal really with the idea of bottom up. It's you who give meaning to the seal, even though there is a text that frames this meaning. And it's through you that I think it's coming to life. And we hope that we have the chance to collect your local experiences on the one hand, and to give back through the network an opportunity for you to connect with other cities and learn, for example, how in the city of Edinburgh, for example, 250,000 euro could be made possible for festivals development, or what does it mean, the net zero carbon future in Edinburgh? What can other cities learn from that? And there is many, many practices, I think, that the city of Edinburgh could learn from when connecting to you all here in the room. That's our invitation in short. And Hester, I think now, if we do not see Jeroen back, and I don't think it's the case, it's time, it's another 20 minutes time for questions, for answers, for comments towards Ragni, towards anyone who has spoken, maybe sharing your interests that you had when you heard about the seal, the questions that you still have that you haven't replied to. Shall we go through this round? The floor is open. Hester.
Yeah, I can imagine that there are questions. I mean, with 39 people in the room that would have an interest in participating in the seal, I would have questions, but not yet. Maybe a question then.
One.
Yes, is there one? I can't see it.
Yeah, just 1 second. I saw it.
It's in the
What
chat.
is required?
Yep, go ahead, Anna.
Sorry. No, what is required from a city to join the network?
The requirements to join a network actually are very, very principled. They are that the city has to have an interest to invest into a conversation with its festivals community. The requirements then, if a city is interested to join this process, would be, of course, in one or another way to sign off this seal, which is done in almost all cases by the mayor of the city. We are planning to do this each year, once a year, in the framework of the Arts Festival Summit. So cities would come to the Arts Festival Summit and they would sign off in a, whatever you would want to call it, the signing ceremony of the annual newcomers of the seal. They would come to the summit and sign off the seal. And for the rest, I wouldn't call it maybe requirements, but more so, as I did in the presentation, invitations to participate in the 2 Zoom meetings per year, to participate in the at least one physical meeting during the Arts Festival Summit, to update the profile on Festival Finder, which is your page, your way of presenting you as a festival city, which is managed by each city individually and which is updated also by each city individually. And of course, an invitation, as we said before, to use the seal in whatever way that is needed locally together with your festivals community. Krakow was just an example. By a series of encounters the city is now organizing between the festivals and the city. I think the city uses this process to come to festival cities' policies. That is not in that sense a requirement, but that is an offer that I think we are trying to connect with this EFFE Seal. And I think it's the same kind of question, Veronica, that you are having from the city of Brno, if there are any obligations associated with membership. We haven't called it until now.
I have answer now. I wasn't so quick as colleagues, so it was the same question.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't it's an interesting question still, because we use the word network, we use the word membership. We haven't defined this yet as a membership, but we have defined it in a very organic way, basically, in a very co-ode way. It's an ode. The initiative of the seal is, of course, an initiative of the European Festivals Association, but the cities that have joined the process are basically initiators of the seal, of the text, of the proposals, and actually of the work program itself. So it's not in that sense yet that we are offering a membership network, you pay a fee and you are getting these and these services, but it's still a co-ode process, I think, that are shaped and that is given life to by the cities themselves.
Thanks.
Yeah, and maybe also good to add, Catherine, that as the EFFE Seal is growing, as more cities want to participate and join, we are looking with the founders at some possibilities to, well, of course, things need to be coordinated at this point. How we can do that in the future, and that would, I mean, everybody would like to know that that would maybe include a small fee, but we're not there yet. And even if it would be something like that, it wouldn't be a big, the cost wouldn't be high. Do I say that correctly, Catherine?
That is very correct, yes.
Okay.
I'm glad that we have here with us two more people. I would love to give the floor to, on the one hand, Peter Evenkai, and you will be the second, and on the other hand, Carlos Panek from the city of Krakow, because Krakow has been since the beginning also a very active contributor to the seal. And not only contributor, but I think, Carlos, I have mentioned you now various times, maybe you can bear witness a little bit from the process of trying to bring the festivals community into conversations in Krakow together. Because, you know, it could also mean, if you sign off the seal, that the cities that are calling themselves festival cities, they are getting a reaction from the festivals in the city. And the festivals are asking, but what do you do for us? You are getting the seal, you are getting another stamp on your logo, but what is it actually that you are doing for us? Is it enough? And they can use, in a way, the seal signature of the mayor of Krakow as something that now they have to live up to. How do you do this in Krakow, Carlos?
Hello, I hope everybody can hear me. Actually, I'm here to confirm that everything is true. And we have taken the first step on the whole process. So we gathered by the end of November. We had a meeting with some representatives of the city, including Robert Piaskowski, who is the plenipotentiary for culture of the city of Krakow, and the situation of Polish government, you would say it's more a right hand for culture. And this meeting, we have also invited the plenipotentiary for climate education and for equal treatment. So we try to gather all the spectrum that it's involved, included in the EFFE Seal, here with the highest authorities of the city. I mean, apart from the mayor, but like coming to each topic itself. And we have invited members and the directors and eventually the vice director, deputy director of the most important festivals of the city. So those are festivals that have been guaranteed financial grant from the city of Krakow for the coming 5 years. And we have other independent festivals and representatives from other associations that have been invited. We had which became very important for the city of Krakow, a lady that represents a foundation that's very active when it comes to Ukrainian minorities. So we also are taking this into consideration. We cannot talk about the EFFE Seal, about making Krakow a more festival city, a better festival city, without including the Ukrainian minority here, considering the situation that we have. So we had 26 people in this meeting. The coordination of the work, we want to build some sort of strategy. So for new festivals, for coming festivals, how can they address the goals of the EFFE Seal? And exchange of best practices that we have between the already existing festivals, because some of them have some solutions, but some of them have other solutions. So here it's pretty much of a brainstorming, and we actually called it more a workshop than a meeting. We didn't have like, that's how we didn't want to have the idea that's bottom down. But bottom up. So we want actually to open as a dialogue, not like we are the city, that's how you have to do, adapt to our requirements. What's doable? How can you adapt to this? Which solutions can you find? And we are coordinating with the Krakow Festival Office. So the institution itself has festival on its name. And the new director of the Krakow Festival Office really took her like almost personally the implementing these ideas of the EFFE Seal. So it's in the making, the whole process, and we'll go for the next step. So we're mapping what are the problems, what are the challenges from big festivals. So like if you say we have to try eco solutions for providing food and beverages, but like paper, it's more expensive than plastic. And if you're talking about 3,000 people audience, it's easier. But if you're talking on the open field with hundreds, the finance is a little bit different. So that's what we are working on. And I have to say that it was very well received. And we have been getting feedback by email from those directors that were there, saying, putting new ideas. So I think it was a first moment, and there is the will. And we have the people, so we didn't have to convince anyone that those changes are needed. They already know it, but sometimes they don't know how to do it, or some other people have the solutions. So trying to be very short on my presentation. So that's pretty much it. Of course, if you have any questions, if the agenda allows, I'm here to answer.
Thanks, Carlos. Are there any questions for Carlos? I think it was a really clear and practical example of what you can do locally with your festivals, with the EFFE Seal, and how EFFE Seal can give you tools to do that. Really helpful. There's another question in the chat, and I can't pronounce their name. Can we organize our festival online and invite all the members for partnership? Maybe the asker of the question can tell a little bit more about the question.
I think it's the city of Pavlograd, if I'm not mistaken. Can we organize?
Sure,
yeah.
So can we organize our festival online and invite all the members for partnership? I don't really understand the question correctly, I think. Catherine, can you help me?
May I try to explain? It is Peter speaking from Budapest. I suppose that in the current situation, very close, a few dozen kilometers from the war, from the front, it's unrealistic to organize a festival where Pavlograd can invite us, can invite Ragni and Carlos and Gert and all those people. What they are offering, if they set up an online festival in one way or another, whether this can be elevated to the level of a real festival, a European festival, and we can attend. And this is how I understand the question. And my answer is yes.
Mine too.
Yeah, echo that.
Can we explain a little bit?
Oh, yeah, please.
Okay.
So thank you so much for your explanation, and thank you for your answer. Yes, for the current situation of our, not only for our town, but for our country, it's maybe not expectable to know how it will be tomorrow, and it's very dangerous for us to think about our future ideas. So maybe the only chance to organize and to provide something for our citizens, it's to do it online and to use the partnership from different members. So online, it's yes, like it's like to organize all our members and to provide all our ideas only in the internet.
I think that
I
think that we are doing this with great pleasure. In the past couple of weeks, Alexandra Butsenko has always been our bridge to different festivals in Ukraine and to different cities in Ukraine, to understand what we can do in terms of inviting maybe some participants of festivals, communities and cities to our live gatherings. And it worked actually last year in Yerevan quite well to have some voices of Ukraine who had the chance to come. But of course, this is very exceptional. But we will keep on doing this for the next summit in Girona as well. And if there is a concrete idea, we could identify maybe to pick a date and to bring Ukrainian members and cities and festivals together and exchange with an international network and partners from Krakow, from Bergen, and so forth around the way of working with festivals in cities, we would be, I think, all ready and very happy to do so. And I think that's exactly what this community of cities and of festivals together in this space should do and should deliver to local needs and responding to local needs. And yours at the moment, of course, are very, very specific and very, very high. And I can understand that such a meeting could really make a difference if it's possible to set it up. So we are very happy to arrange that.
Thank you so much for understanding, and we can tell you that today's meeting is the fresh air for us. It's real fresh air, and your photos, your ideas, it's like a festival for our today's life. Yes, and it's a great pleasure for us to be the members of your meeting. Thank you so much for your answer.
It's wonderful to hear that. I mean, there is little contributions and sometimes a helpless community looking at the situation in Ukraine, and it's good to hear that even very, very small acts of joining and bringing us together can make such a difference. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you very much for your feedback. Definitely. Peter, I wanted to give you the floor, and you had already unmuted yourself, and you translated already the question now that we had in the chat in your understanding, Peter. But still, I wanted, with one very concrete question, to bring you into the conversation, because you have drafted together with us this text, and you have worked with us on the thinking behind the EFFE Seal. And now that it comes to life, and we try with this meeting to inform different other cities to join the process, is there something you think we have forgotten to tell, or we should have told a little bit more differentiated or with a better focus?
Oh, no. I think most of the things have come up. The essence of Seal is, well, on two levels, basically. One is that this is a creed, a credo, that we adhere to certain principles. The word, the slides and also the film began with the word Europe, and it ended with Europe. The last thing was to belong to the European project. So that is something, that's the symbolic level, that other than entertaining and fulfilling other functions for the arts and for the cities of the festivals, we also adhere to the European values of solidarity, of human rights, and so on. The second level is practical, and this is what Carlos was developing, explaining some practical solutions. And this is where very important, this is what is important for festival organizers, to share practical ideas and also to use the logistical advantages of being together. One of those advantages is being visible on the website, on the portal, Festival Finder. And that is what I'm looking forward, that those cities that join the Seal will get their portraits. There is, we could see a beta version of Edinburgh, and there is an initiative already of Bergen on the portal. And that is an advantage too for the cities.
Thanks, Peter and Catherine. Before everybody has to leave in 2 minutes, maybe the final question for Catherine: how can cities join if they want to join?
Yeah, I see. I was just looking through the different screens because we asked each other to include the name of the city behind our names. It hasn't been done all the time, so I don't know exactly who is in the room, but there is more cities than the ones that have already signed. I can see that. I see Hanover here, I see Oxford, Highclere, I see Brno and others. So those that are interested to follow this process, be it from the city's perspective or from the festival's perspective, we are very happy to engage with you one-on-one to give more information to your city or to the festival's community to understand the value of the seal behind. I see Rotterdam, true, Charlotte, hi. To understand the value behind the seal. In order to explain it even more, to engage in conversations towards April. In April, from the 3rd until the 26th of April, we are organizing the Arts Festival Summit with the festival cities as well as the festivals community in Girona in Spain, organized and hosted by the Peralada International Festival. And we are preparing for that occasion a specific program for the festival cities to come together in the framework of the summit, and also a what we call signing ceremony where also the city of Girona and Peralada and other mayors are going to be present. And I think with the newcomers coming on board, this conversation that we can enable in Girona with you, Hester, and with other steering committee members is a very valuable conversation in which we can pinpoint topics that James mentioned before and others of the cities mentioned before: the carbon footprint, acts of solidarity, the use of public spaces in a city, festivals policies, and many, many others. So I'm very happy, or we would be very happy to see you in 5 months' time in Girona in Spain and share this moment, hopefully share this moment with as many people as possible together. And maybe there is a chance for you in Pavlograd to join us in Girona as well. And if not, we will make sure that there is an online contribution possible in this context. That's the invite, Hester. I think there is a lot for us to work on, right?
Definitely, yeah. And maybe we can look up all the email addresses of the people that were present today and send a little recap of what we spoke about and how they can be there in Girona. That would be nice.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm happy that from within the EFA office, we have here with us, on the one hand, Anna. Anna is working specifically on this group of cities. If there are questions and you need to contact us, Anna is there and she knows about the next steps and can provide more information to you. And we have Gerd Nassens on the other hand as well, who is working with us on the technological development in the EFA team of the Festival Finder, and also thinking on, of course, on the business model behind this initiative, because we started in a very humble way, and I think we should go on in a very humble, slow way. But if the slowness in the process becomes very, very dynamic, I think it's important to understand that there needs to be a business plan behind, and Gerd is working with the cities and with all of us on this business plan, let's call it like that as well. Yeah. If there are no more questions, we wave at you. We say Merry Christmas or a happy end of the year or whatever you celebrate. And we hope to see you really very soon in Spain. It's already beautiful temperatures. We are very much looking forward to hopefully engaging with you in this context of the seal. Thank you for joining. Thanks everyone who has shared experiences.